All right, no problem.
My company is called, let's see, I got it here. GeeGoals, and it's a banker matching platform.
Okay, all right. GeeGoals. All right. Well, so what we'll do, very easy. We're not coming at you or anything like that, but we'll have you first. Are we hot? Okay, just go ahead and state your name and your company in. I'll name and company into the microphone. I will introduce the podcast, and then we'll start talking.
All right.
Very easy. It's just a conversation. You're good. You'll be fine.
Excellent. I'll do my best.
You'll be fine.
My name is Jomel Gutierrez. My friends call me Joe. The name of my company is GeeGoals. It's a banker matching platform.
Okay, perfect. All right. Hi, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Venture Science Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Sanjay Bodraj, here at the Survivor event at the Tech Coast Venture Network program at the UCI Beal Center for Innovation here in Irvine, California. And here with Yosmel Gutierrez,
Yes, sir.
who has a banking product. So a little bit out of my cup of tea, my zone. But why don't you tell me a little bit about your company?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me.
Our pleasure.
It's an honor to be in UCI and on this podcast. GeeGoals is a banker matching platform specifically done for small businesses. This idea came out of literally 2020 in the middle of the pandemic when a lot of small businesses were struggling to find their PPP loans. And that's when I found the problem on access to capital for people who didn't have good banking relationships. Literally, I noticed that people who have good banking relationships were getting PPP loans right away. Small businesses, even though they were profitable and they have millions of dollars in bank accounts, they still did not get access to PPPs because they were either banking with big banks and they didn't know anybody there and they were just falling in line. I saw local community banks taking care of all their clients and still say, hey, we can help more people. Do you know anyone that we can help out? And that's when I actively, right? At the time I own a franchise from Lendio, which is #1 small lending marketplace in the United States. And I say, hey, I know a lot of bankers. I work with them all the time. So I rerouted some of my small business clients to local banks. So I was like, okay, well, is there a real issue here or not, right?
Yeah.
Is that an opportunity or not?
Is there a market that needs it? Right?
Exactly. So after pandemic, I even noticed that the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, they have podcasts even talking about this issue. People who didn't have banking relationship, they were left behind.
Yeah.
After pandemic, I was like, okay, there's no pandemic no more. I want to know if we have a real problem or not.
Yeah.
So since 2022, I started doing market research. I started talking to small business owners literally for 3 years. Hey, do you want to get access to banking relationship? Are you willing to see if there's a difference if you bank with another bank?
Mm-hmm.
And the results were there. To give you a real example, I have clients that they decided to start a banking relationship with BMO right here in Orange County. And they got $100,000 approved when they decided to do it with Wells Fargo, and I'm dropping names. They only got $10,000.
Yeah.
And same company, same financial profile. Yeah. What changed?
Well, risk profiles and things, but
absolutely,
I think that people outside of the startup world.
Oh yeah.
I think people outside of the startup world don't realize how important that personal relationship is with your local bank. And I feel, just as you said, a lot of times community banks are meant to support the community, and people don't realize. So they'll go to these big name banks and they just don't get that same connection. Right?
Absolutely.
And ultimately, so much of business is just about connection with people. How did you get into this? So you mentioned that you kind of ran a firm. Do you have like a finance background, or you're a young guy? How do you get from high school to here?
I know. Well, I was born and raised in Cuba, and actually in Cuba I was doing engineering and telecommunications. So yeah, it was a 180 degree change. However, when I was 26, I was living in Utah, and I always been an entrepreneur. I did a lot of stuff, lost a lot of money. And one thing that I found a pattern is that small businesses always say, hey, we need money to grow. We need money to grow. I was like, okay, there's an opportunity here. Before I already spent like $25,000 in failed businesses. I look for a perspective. What can I do without putting my own money
Yeah.
into helping small business
OPM,
owners, right?
OPM, yeah.
And I found Lendio up there in Utah. I interviewed, I got hired, and I was tech support because I was in IT.
Yeah.
And I fell in love. I just fell in love with the dynamics and how things were moving. People on the sales floor saying, hey, we just helped so-and-so secure $500,000, $1 million, and now they hired 20 employees.
Yeah.
To me, I was like, oh my God, am I home? This is the calling that I have. I went into sales, and in less than a year, I opened up the line of credit department inside of Lendio, and I went to buy my own franchise. I became the first employee to ever own a franchise from Lendio at the time, back in 2018.
Yeah.
And then from there, I came to California, and I said, hey, let's do this again. A whole year, it was very successful, and then pandemic hits.
Right.
And I strongly believe that we did even better during pandemic because we were actually helping a lot of small businesses.
Well, and I think people don't really understand sometimes the beauty of the financial world and business world in the way that you do, is that you're connecting not just people to money, but people to jobs and the services that they need. And what, I mean, you probably know the statistic, like 70% of the businesses are small businesses or in the United States, right? So small business really runs the country.
They do. They're hardcore of the economy. And when you start looking into immigrant entrepreneurs like myself, we have a knowledge gap, right? That people who were born here.
Cultural knowledge gap.
Yeah, cultural knowledge
it's definitely
gap.
not technical knowledge.
Yeah, cultural knowledge gap.
Yeah.
And that also impede, kind of frustrates on other people. For example, I'm going to speak for the Hispanic community that don't understand how the financial system works because of the language barrier.
Sure.
Can be as simple as that. So by connecting them with people, by highlighting those people, those great bankers in the community, we're able to bridge that gap.
Wow.
And I feel like AI right now can do that even better. We incorporated AI on the platform. But that has been my experience. And I was like, hey, you know what? We should give this to other people. And the numbers were there. The results were there. And hopefully we launch it by the end of May.
Well, perfect. So as a company right now, are you looking for capital, or like how can our listeners reach out
Absolutely.
and help you?
We are pre-seed. We're looking to raise about $100,000. We already have an MVP. We have 2 CDFIs that say, hey, we're ready to work with you.
Okay.
We have a local credit union that also say, hey, yeah, we're ready to work with you. And we have one of our alternative lender for financial that also say, yes, whenever you're ready, let's go.
So all the pieces are ready.
We have over 2,000 small business owners that have say, yes, get us in. The moment that you launch, we want to be the first one.
Wow. So we have 2,000 first people.
Yes, we do. We do.
Well, that's great. It's always good to have warm customers before you get the business started, right?
Absolutely,
so,
yes.
Absolutely fascinating. Best of luck to you. I think it's so cool what you're doing, and I love your passion kind of comes through. We were talking before with one of the judges, and he had mentioned, in the brief time that you have to really communicate your passion and make other people feel what you do, and you definitely have that. And I think your head is screwed on straight. So best of luck to you. Thanks to you guys as well for being here. Oh, before I forget, how do people find you? Your website?
Yes, go to GeeGoals.com with the G-E-E, goals.com.
Goals, GOALS.com.
GeeGoals.com.
And we'll link that in the show notes for sure. But thank you guys for being here as part of the Venture Science Podcast, where we are always trying to bring you the stories from the cutting edge of all the tech. And today we learned about fintechs, which is super cool. A little bit out of my area, but always fun to learn about. Thank you for being here. If you enjoyed what you saw today, please make sure to like and subscribe to the podcast. And I will catch you on the next Venture Science Podcast. It's Dr. Sanjay. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, dude. You did great. Man. Congratulations to you. Super excited for you. Don't lose your microphones here.
Oh, yeah, right there.